Hello viewers, and welcome to another interesting edition of the program, Guest of the Week. Guest of the Week is a program that brings you discussions with great personalities from the society. Today in the studios, we have a very special personality, the HOD, Public and International Law Department, Nile University of Nigeria, Abuja, Dr. Siraj Yagu. Doctor, you are welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome, sir. Today on the program, we will be discussing about politics, the just concluded presidential and National Assembly elections. But before we proceed, let's go on a short break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Guest of the Week, and we have our guest in the studio, Dr. Siraj Yagu, from the Public and International Law Department of Nile University, Abuja. So, Doctor, the National Assembly and presidential elections have just been concluded. So, what are your thoughts on the overall conduct of the just concluded elections?
Thank you once again, and my greetings to our viewers. Actually, from the way I see the election conducted, I think this election is one of the most credible in terms of it being transparent, in terms of it being, having less influence of money in terms of election. We had this election at the time when there was no physical cash to influence voters, to buy votes. We had this election when we don't have cash, physical, and you know that nobody would like to be, chased after the election by the law enforcement to say that we have some money in your account. So people were not willing to give their accounts for money to be sent into it. So there was actually serious reduction in terms of influence of money in the election, and that could also be seen from the total number of vote cast during the election. Before now, we have been having about 30 million people participation in election. At least I think 2019, 2015, and backward, we have been having such huge number. But this time around, I think combined together, the total votes cast combined will not be more than 23, 24, and that explains, the way the election was conducted without rigging, because there were so many allegations of rigging in the past. With the viewers that was introduced, at least over voting was able to be checked, because even the politicians were so conscious that if there's over voting by one single vote, then that result of that polling unit would be cancelled. So, and the politicians didn't want that, because they don't know whether even without rigging the election, the party will win. So I think overall, if you look at it generally, the election is one of the most freest and fairest election we have had in this country over recent times.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting. So talking about the most transparent in this country, and so would you say that this just concluded election has met the international standard of fairness and transparency?
Yes. I know there was some there are some complaints from especially the presidential candidates who lost election to the APC candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I mean, now he's even president-elect on the basis that beavers were not used in transmitting the results directly to INEC portal. And people need to understand, actually the election was not electronic voting. No, it was the same, normal manual voting that you be given a ballot paper, then you go and thumbprint with ink, then
drop it in the ballot.
drop it in the, put it in the ballot box.
Yes.
Then thereafter, the ballots, were sorted out and then, counted, and each candidate or each party, got, the presiding officers filled the relevant forms, was giving each and every political party the votes it got in that particular polling unit. Then thereafter, they write it down, just like I said, and each and every agent will sign after the presiding officer signs. So it is that result sheet that is supposed to be snapped and sent to INEC, not that the election itself was electronic. It's just like you using your phone to snap a paper and send to someone. Yes, there's a record. A record has been created. But I think INEC said because of problems of internet and so on and so forth, they were not able to do that. Or there was a malfunction of the beavers, and we know that yes, technology can fail. But all the same, the political parties that were crying, I think they are not being fair because their agents were given the opportunity to snap the result sheet there and then. With that, they can have they have the result. I think each and every political party have had the results even before the INEC announced it. So the only thing is that they're saying that no, the process has not been followed. Yes, but I think INEC has explained why that was not done. But coming back to your question that about whether it has met the international standard, I think there is no single standard internationally on how elections are conducted. I'll give you to the major democracies, I would say, in the world, the United Kingdom and the United States. In the United States, they even do electronic voting.
Yes.
You go to the polling unit. Everything is computerized. You give your address, you give some of your particulars, probably address, your name, and your name and your address, your age. Then if they impute it, then automatically your address will pop up and they will now verify you as a voter. That is the United Kingdom States. And in some cases, like I said, they even do electronic voting. Yes. And if you look at the United States, even people who are outside the United States are allowed to vote. So they do their election in a staggered manner. Those that are on essential services have opportunity to vote. So that's the United States. But in the United Kingdom, they don't use computer in their election process. What they do is that they send a letter to each house, depending on how many adults are in that house. So they address a letter to each individual in the house to confirm their own particulars. When they do that, close to the election, they will send another paper, which is equivalent to our card here.
Okay.
No, not ballot. It's equivalent to our permanent voter card. Then it is that paper that you take to the polling unit, and once you take it, they check it with their manual register, not in the computer. When they found your name, then what they do next is to give you a ballot paper, and the ballot paper is not even like our own. It's just a sheet of paper with a box by the side of the name of the political party. Yes, just a square box You go and they'll give you a pencil, not even
coloring.
No. They'll give you a pencil and they'll not change the result because it's a pencil. So they give you a pencil, you tick or you close the box that you want to vote for. I mean, for the party you want to vote for, and then go and put it in the ballot box. And there you don't even see queue. There, the voting will start very early in the morning and it will not close until around 6 or 7 p.m. to allow people who are working to come and vote. They don't declare work freely. And in the United Kingdom, they conduct election even on Mondays, weekdays. So there's no set standard. But when you're talking about the standard in terms of transparency, I think the election, going by what I've seen during the election, the election itself was transparent because even the ballot boxes were so transparent. You can see what is there. They are plastic boxes, and the people are around. Nobody is manipulating. The way I casted my vote, nobody was interfering with anybody. Everybody was allowed to exercise his own franchise the way he wants it. So I think it was the election was transparent and, like I said, very credible in terms of the way money was. The influence of money was minimized, courtesy of the cashless policy of the federal government.
Yes, that's interesting. So you talked about the role played by the INEC in your explanation. So how do you evaluate the general role played by the Electoral Commission in the process of the general elections that was just concluded?
I think we have had an improvement from the past elections. One, in terms of using the beavers, because
Yes.
those beavers actually help in curtailing rigging and voting. You know, before
Yes.
this problem of ballot box snatching,
Yes.
because there's nothing to that, there's no record that you cannot tamper with.
Yes.
But these beavers now, with the beavers, everything, the accreditation has to be done with that, and I think that will yes. And I've seen a situation whereby where I casted my vote in my village, someone came with a lady came with her voter's card, and they couldn't verify her either from the QR at the back of the card. So her accreditation completely failed, and she could not vote, and she left.
Even using
Yes.
the facial recognition
Yes.
feature of the beavers?
Yes, her own didn't work, but immediately they after her it was me,
Okay.
because there was two queues for women and for men, and my own, and I was able to. The viewers, that they used there credited me, and I voted, and in the end, because even during the collation, I witnessed where an agent called for the beavers to confirm the total number of people accredited. And when they brought it, the moment you press a button, you see the lock. So I think there's an improvement in that, because actually where you can stop rigging is from the accreditation. And that I think INEC was able to achieve that. And even the new system, before now, it was accreditation first. After accreditation, then people will now come back
for the
and a lot of
election
people will not come back.
Yes.
But this time around, as soon as you are accredited,
You
then
vote.
you vote. And I think
It made everything easy.
it made everything a lot easier, even for the voters and for everybody. That too is an improvement from the previous experience. Then again, even the distribution of the election materials. In the past, you will hear that election has not been conducted in many polling units because of the logistics problem. This time around, INEC distributed even the sensitive materials well ahead of time, and they kept it safely. And I think, like in Malogan, from my experience, even the sensitive materials were distributed to the local government offices on Thursday. Wow. And then by Friday, the INEC offices at the local government were able to sort them out.
Yes.
Then, at a particular time, distributed them. Then the supervisors also took to the wards, and from there they distributed to the POs, that is the presiding officers. Yes, officers. So I think there was, the operation this time around, there was a lot of improvement, even in terms of the logistics, involved in the election. So overall, I think INEC deserve an applause. Honestly, yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Viewers, I'm sure you are enjoying this discussion with Dr. Siraj Yakub, the HOD of Public and International Law Department of Nile University, Abuja. But before we go on, let's go on a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Guest of the Week on Alansar TV. And today on the program, we have Dr. Siraj Yakub, the HOD of Public and International Law Department of Nile University, Abuja. Doctor, we really appreciate you here.
Thank you.
Before we went on the break, Doctor talked to us about the overall conduct of the elections and whether the elections has met international standards. So next, we will now be talking about where your profession is. So now, what do you think are the legal implications that could arise from the allegations of the parties that lost to the winning party, the allegations of rigging during the elections and other election malpractices? What do you think would come of that, the legal implications?
You see, as a lawyer, I don't want any court to cite me for contempt. Because, even though the matter is not yet before the court, but I should not make any comment on television that will influence the judges. Yes. But what I would say overall here, those who participated, the winners and the losers in this election, they have rights as enshrined by the Constitution and the Electoral Act to challenge any results that they're not happy with in court. The outcome, I don't know. But definitely, in Nigeria, even at a party level, when in terms of primary elections, you always see pre-election matters in the court. So definitely, as Peter Obi indicated, and probably Atiku Abubakar also indicated, they are likely to challenge the victory of the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the court. But whether they will win or Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win is for the court to decide, and how the lawyers of each party will prosecute or present their case at the tribunal and at the higher courts when when the appeal goes there. So that's all I can say. So that, just like I said, to avoid
contempt.
Yes, contempt.
Okay. So you talked about the election being one of the fairest and the transparent that was ever had in Nigeria. So I would like you to tell us further measures that you feel can be taken in coming elections to ensure more transparency and fairness.
I think this cashless policy, even though it has its negative side in terms of election, I think we should the incoming government should even try and perfect it. What do I mean? It has been money in cash that has been actually, making that was chaining our own election, because wherever you use money, there's every tendency that things will be compromised, from the INEC officials to ad hoc staff to the security agencies, and even talks, because you need money to give to talks to go and disrupt election. So this cashless policy, I believe that Nigerians have seen the positive side of it. So this cashless policy should be maintained if we want our election to continue to be free and fair. But the government, right from this government, they should take note that people are suffering, Nigerians are suffering because of lack of cash. When we say cashless society, we don't mean no cash at all. Because developed countries, for example, UK, US, they are all cashless societies. A lot of people are using other means to move money. Yes. And the purpose of that is to ensure government can monitor how money is being moved around, and that has the effect of solving security challenges like this kidnapping. If there's no physical cash, no kidnapper or his agent will be agreed to collect, via bank transfer. Even if you want to change to dollars, dollars, it can be monitored.
Yes.
Because the victims must transfer to a below change man. Yes. So that are some of the overlooked benefit of this policy. But like I said, even in the cashless society, it does not mean that there's no cash. Actually, they are like in the United Kingdom. They have the highest denomination is £50, but you will hardly see £50 going around in the United Kingdom. Actually, that £50 note is for export to other countries, so that they will minimize the bulk, that they have to export. Samsung in the United States, if you visit the United States, go to ATM, usually the bill is mostly $20 bill. 50 and 100 actually is for export through the office of the what they call OCC, Office of the Currency Controller. Yeah, because that is the office in charge of distributing money worldwide, dollars worldwide. We can borrow from that. Nigeria, we can borrow from that. What do we need actually in Nigeria in terms of physical cash? We need from 200 naira note down to 5. Yes. And even when government is printing the money, the 200 naira should not be more than 20% of the total cash. With that, bribery, corruption, issue of insecurity will reduce. Using money during election will reduce. You can imagine the bulk of money that has to be transported, even if the money is 10 million, if it is in 100 naira note, yes, or if it is in 15 naira note. So if the bulk, we can have money as much as 3 trillion, even more in circulation, so that will ease this support, because there are a lot of businesses that depend that are cash based. The vegetable seller in the market, the mama selling food on the street, and so on and so forth. Even car wash, even if you travel, because there are so many businesses. You are traveling by train. Yes. You are carrying a heavy luggage. There are people there who are collecting their own lawful business by helping you to carry. Some people are present instantly. This cashless policy, the bad side of it is that it has sent people out of job, out of business. So government should look into it. But like I said, cashless policy is one of the things that must stay for our own electoral system to be more credible and more and more transparent. Then other means, of course, to get people involved, transparency in terms of distributing the election materials.
Yes.
At the moment, actually, again, we have to give credit to INEC, because when they are distributing at all levels, they don't distribute in the absence of the agents of the political parties. Yes, so we can involve civil society organization to witness, journalists like you to witness, to make sure that nobody is compromised.
Yes.
So again, giving another way of improving and ensuring transparency is by allowing, even though I'm not journalist, they are allowed to monitor. They don't have enough journalists to monitor election. But even I think ANEC should allow freelance journalists to monitor elections at every polling unit. That will also help in ensuring transparency.
Okay, having said that, Doctor, I will still bring you back to the judicial system. What is your general assessment about of the roles played by the judiciary in previous election, in solving previous election matters or petitions? What is your general assessment?
Yes, judiciary actually is there to make societies generally orderly, because without somebody arbitrating someone, people will be taking the law into their hands. Yes, so they have actually they're having a great role in determining, disputes. In every sector of society, but especially this in electoral processes. I know there are a lot of allegations of corruption and so on and so forth. I think the judiciary should do more internally to ensure that they too, they are above board. The judges who are posted to
tribunals.
To hear the tribunals, because the court is the last hope of the common man, and even the politicians. So they should do all they can to ensure that they appear to be just to all the parties. Yes.
So we'll go back to the international scene. So how do you see the outcome of these elections? How does it impact on the perception of Nigeria in the international community?
I think Nigeria, is deepening its democracy now, because elections after elections since 1999, I think now we have had about 7 elections. Yes. So, and uninterrupted. And there have been peaceful transition of power, even from one party, the ruling party, to the opposition. Yes, in 2015. The transition was very peaceful and smooth. That the international observers that are here, they are not everywhere. And sometimes, unfortunately, they rely on the report from the section of the media that is biased. And they always try to paint Nigeria black. But that is not true. This election, going by what has happened and the way it was conducted, was out medley even by the president himself, because we have to be fair to him. He asked Nigerians to choose the candidate, even though he campaigned for his own candidate, but he asked Nigerians to choose the candidate of that choice. He didn't deploy security agents to chase our people for his party to come to victory. The government deployed security agents almost everywhere, including prison wardens. I've seen them. I saw them. They deployed them to protect the election process. Yes, and they did that. But just like I said, especially the international observers would like to say one thing or the other. Again, that will tend the outcome of the election. But because I think they are relying on, like I said, bias section of media. But generally, if you have to be fair to Nigeria, and the international community has to be fair to Nigeria, then they know themselves that yes, this election is one of the best election Nigeria have had since we returned to democracy.
Okay.
Yes.
So about the participation of women and youth.
Yes.
What would be your comment about their participation in the just concluded elections? Did they really participate, or
two things I think when you're talking about participation, the way I see it. One, participation as candidates in the election, and the second one, participation in terms of exercising their right to vote. Yes. So the first one, in terms of them being on the ballot, actually still we have an imbalance. There is an imbalance.
Okay.
For example, in my state, I don't know any woman who stood the election for the House of Reps,
Senate,
and Senate.
Okay.
I think all the constituencies were men, but there were youth. I know people who are not even older, who are even younger than me,
Yes.
who won the election and won.
What about the primary level before getting
Even
to
the primary level,
elections?
even the primary level.
Okay.
Actually, the participation of women was very low. There are so many factors responsible for that. Lack of resources. Women cannot stand the violence of some politicians and so on. So we need to give without actually, making it a legislation. No, practically, because even the legislation you can legislate, but will the legislation be enforced? Who will enforce it to say that women must be certain? But no. But we need to encourage women, and there are a lot of good women out there who can be better leaders than even the men. But then again, in terms of youth, also youth, they may not have the resources and the experience, even in politics, to get themselves out there. I think again we need to give more chance to youth to participate. But when it comes to voting, actually the reverse is the case. Majority of the voters are actually women.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe the main politicians are afraid that if they allow women will choose, but majority are women and youth.
Yes.
So, in terms of other link, that is participation during, during the election proper, that's voting. Then you find out that the majority of voters are women and youth. So, I think this is my take on that.
Okay.
Yes.
That's very interesting, Doctor. So finally, it has been a very great discussion, and we've had a lot of views from you. What are the lessons that can be learned from the just concluded elections, and how do we go about correcting those lessons in the next coming elections?
Yes. Okay. So let me go back a little, because, like I said, I'm so happy and impressed with with this election actually, because there are a lot of improvement, even though there are a lot of lessons to be learned.
Yes.
But before I talk about that, Nigeria has to do a lot at the primary level, because that's where the problem is. There are a lot of people who are on the ballot today who don't deserve to be there. Some are even people that you can describe as touts because of their own behaviors, and some are not educated, especially in the northern part. But because they can manipulate the election at primary level, they were able to get themselves all the ballot paper. So we need to do more at the primary, especially reducing the influence of money, because I want to believe that the amount of money spent during the primaries is by far more than, even if money is used this time around, than the money used during the actual elections. So we need to work hard. That cultural policy should work more and more again at the primary level. But in terms of things that can be done to improve that, the issue of technology, if we have to use it, we don't have to use it, actually, because time will come, one will be behaving like the people in the United Kingdom. They use even pencil and nobody will erase it.
Erase it and
yes,
change.
Yes. So in terms of if we have to use technology, we must make sure that the technology will work perfectly, and we know that it's not possible, even in the advanced society, because I could remember last year, September, I was in a conference in the United Kingdom, and some people participated virtually, some speakers, and there was some glitch even there. So we know that may not necessarily be, we may not necessarily perfect that, but we need to improve more. If we have to use technology, we have to improve on that. Then, even in terms of funding INEC to continue to do its work. Then again, in terms of voter registration, it should be made easy. There should be no time limit. As soon as this election is over, because there are some young men and women who will turn 18, so the election should be, the registration should be continuous.
Continuous, yes.
Continuous, and you don't have to say you have to pack like millions of new registered voters before printing their cards. No, and in fact we can even do away with printing card paper, and that card is never permanent. The voters card they call permanent is never permanent, because like the card I received, because I moved my polling unit. Actually, yes, I had to change it one, and then what they gave me, all the records are not on the plastic; they are on a nylon. Yes, that covered the plastic. So how can we call that permanent? I witnessed even the old voters card. I witnessed on this QR code.
Yes.
Has gone out. Yes, it is completely. So can we call it? It costs Nigeria a lot of money. Yes. Why don't we copy from the United Kingdom? We may not need it.
Yes.
Just a matter of paper. They can send these papers to individual homes, or they actually to go and collect it at the local government INEC offices where they register.
Oh, that's it. Thank you very much, Doctor, for honoring our invitation, and we hope that when we invite you next time, you will not hesitate to be on our program.
Inshallah, I'll be here.
Yes.
I'll be here. Yes. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you to my viewers.
Viewers, this is how far we can go on the program Guest of the Week on Al Ansar TV. Stay with us, same time next week for another interesting edition of the program. I remain your host, Tahir Musa Nagogo. Goodbye.